Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Well, from time to time, we do travel out of state. We usually broadcast from Lagos, southwest of the country, southwest of Nigeria. And but today we'll be stopping by in Osun State, and we have Honorable Isaiah Omipedo, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of the State of Osun. I didn't say Osun State. I said the State of Osun. These things are important. It's good to have you again.
The pleasure is mine. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I mean, people have begun. Osun is just taken for granted, like any other state. It's a state, but you guys have a 30th anniversary of your creation. That's in the works. When will the actual date be? When will Osun State as an entity become 30?
No, we're 30 in August. Precisely August 27th. So we have series of activities, lined up to mark the anniversary. One of which was we started with prayers, special Jumat service, special Thanksgiving service. The governor also went out to engage the people through an open forum on TV and radio, where he spoke on, he gave account of his stewardship so far, in the last 3 years. By this Thursday, we'll be having a colloquium. The theme of the colloquium is celebrating a milestone and building a future. So, and we'll round up the activities with a banquet where we honor some distinguished Nigerians who are Osun indigenes and those who are also not of Osun indigenes for their contribution to the growth and development of the state. That
is in Nigeria, or will it include, will be extending to people in the diaspora as well?
Yeah, we have one posthumous, Susan Wenger. We all know the role she played in putting the state, on the map of the world.
This was an expatriate who made her home in Osun, and was something of a priestess.
Exactly. And we also have the deputy of Treasury of the American president bidding as one of our days. Okay. And all in all, there are about 28 of them. We have.
When are these events? Where do they range from? As you say, it was just last month. This is a very
27th of August. Yes.
So it was on the 27th, but it'll range from the. Is it going to be all throughout August, or
We started from 26th all through. We'll be having a colloquium this Thursday.
Okay.
And we'll round off the whole activity with a banquet where we'll celebrate our distinguished sons and daughters.
Okay. You had said that your governor, as part of events, was moving around, addressing people, something of a maybe town hall meetings and
engaging with the people.
Engaging with the people, and I think in that context, he was asked the important question of, look, there's no way to say it, but the finances of the state of Osun, have been under pressure, I believe is what monetary people use. That's it has been under pressure. Long story short, Osun is not as buoyant as it would like to be. There's the whole matter of inheriting a debt that would have been crippling otherwise, yet the state of Osun has continued to pay salaries without owing workers and without borrowing. How did that happen? In fact, I think the governor even hinted that in a very marginal sense, he had even reduced the burden that he had inherited.
Yeah, it's all about creativity. It's all about being prudent. It's all about setting your priorities right and knowing exactly what to do. Like my principal will always say, there's no point lamenting over a situation of things. What you need to do as a manager of human and as a manager of resources is to devise means of navigating through the challenges. And one of the things he has done creatively is to ensure that, look, we have infrastructure to develop, and we must not say because we don't have money, we won't go for what the people want us to do for them. Because don't forget, when he came into office and he went on a thank you tour, most of the things the people asked of him was roads. And so far, we have done excellently well in that regard. And what he does with that is to come up with what is known as alternative project financing. You know, in the past, when you want to build a road, you mobilize the contractors. God help you. Some will even go with your mobilization, you know, fee and will not do anything. But this time around, because he has credibility, he has integrity, we reach out to contractors who have the money. This is what we want to do. We agree on the cost and we agree on payment pattern in such a way that it will not affect the running of other business of government. And that is why, in spite of the economic challenges, in spite of what people call the debt burden, we are responding to the needs, you know, of our people. For instance, most of the roads we have done in recent times are roads that are historical in the sense that at Igbajo, for example, the last time any government touched that road was about 33 years ago.
No kidding. 33.
33.
Over 3 decades ago.
Yeah, we have fixed that. And there's a Yakoyo Moro Road. One of our elder statesmen, Lieutenant General Alani Akinyade, is from that area. When we went to inaugurate the road, it said the last time the road was fixed was over 40 years ago. And that when Baba Kande was in government, he had approached him to help fix the road. And Baba had promised that if he returns for the second time, he will take a look at it. Unfortunately, Baba couldn't return for the second time. And when Mr. Governor came in, he said the community met him and said, look, you are quite close to this government too. Approach them, let them help us. And he said he told them that there's no money anywhere. He knows what is in the state, but that he was pleasantly surprised the day he had the governor announce that the road was among the roads we were going to fix, you know, that year. And so it was a thing of joy to him that even when there was no money, when there is no money, we started the road, we completed it, and we have inaugurated the road. So there are several of such roads, you know, which we are doing, and we are paying salaries regularly. We are paying pensions regularly
through creative approaches, right? Yeah,
you know, the salaries. You know, my principal ensure that the salary comes as first line charge. Nothing will tamper with it, because don't forget it was one of the major issues in the build-up to the 2018 governorship election, and he did promise that he will ensure that it will be a thing of the past. And to God be the glory. We have spent 3 years. We have never owed our workers, you know, for one day. And let me also add.
Oh, okay.
A scale of 1 to 10, Osun cannot be classified among the buoyant states. Scale of 1 to 10 in the country. But as I speak today, Osun is one of the states paying minimum wage. In spite of all the challenges.
Okay. Well, kudos to the state of Osun. But staying on election, because, you know, we spoke about when Bego Yetola, when he arrived. The recent local council elections.
That's the Congress, you mean?
Well, I beg about the APC Congress. Yes, yeah. not local, the Congress. How well did that come out? Because we saw news items that a group called the Osun Progressives, TOP, claims victory in 28 Osun local government councils. And you can clarify that, because
I think for me, if I were still on the feed,
yes,
the first question that will provoke my mind is to ask what happened to the other local, because we have a 30+1 local government in Osun. So if you are claiming victory in 28, is it that there was no exercise in the other 3 areas, or what probably, you know, happened? But having said that, let me place on record, I'm not a member of the panel that came to conduct the election, but the panel led by Honorable Benga Elegbeleye, a former member of the House of Reps, did address a press conference in Oshawa yesterday, the state capital, to explain clearly that the National Secretariat of the party sent them to Osun to conduct the exercise for APC, not for any group. And that they came, they conducted the exercise and announced the result for 30+1 council.
With INEC supervising?
With
overseeing.
With INEC overseeing, with security operatives overseeing. And they went further to say that any other exercise purported to have been conducted in the state, other than the one they supervise, who will not be taken into, consideration. And there are also guidelines issued by the National Secretariat on how these things will be conducted. One of which was that there was a stakeholders meeting on Friday preceding the Congress, where the team from Abuja announced their presence in the state. And at the stakeholders meeting, attended by Mr. Governor, former Speaker of the House of Reps, former deputy governors in the state, former members of House of Reps, serving members of National Assembly, including the Senate spokesperson, there was no single dissenting voice at the stakeholders meeting.
So where does the TOP group feel for coming to all of this?
I think they will be in a better position to respond to that.
Okay, I wanted to bring up the matter of Osun, of course, being one of the states in the southwest. There was a sort of an understanding that by September, the open grazing issue, laws would have been enacted by all members of the grouping to prohibit open grazing. Osun hasn't quite met up with that understanding yet.
Well, I think what happened, it wasn't as if we have not met up. We worked on the bill as expected. We sent to the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly passed it. There are processes of passing, transmitting. But let me seize this opportunity to assure Nigerians that Osun is a critical component of the Southwest. And don't forget that before the Southern Governor's resolution, the Southwest had taken a position on that. And so there's no going back on that. I want to assure Nigerians that I'm sure before this week runs out, Mr. Governor will send the bill.
Has it got to that stage?
The bill has been passed.
The bill has been passed. Back on the Mr. Governor's desk.
And I believe very strongly that if he doesn't do it before the end of work today, I'm sure before the week runs out, he will do it.
Oh, so it's a matter very well in hand. Because one began to wonder, Osun is not alone in that kind of a situation.
Of course, we know.
In Lagos here, I understand
they passed second reading yesterday.
But it's still, it hasn't become a law yet. And but we all were looking at the first.
For them to start the process at all, it shows commitment.
It does. But as you are saying that, you know that in the region, there is, I think Ondo has already. Ondo has. Ondo has a law.
I'm not too sure if Ekiti has.
So
but I know that Ondo has.
For sure.
I believe very strongly that all the governors will,
because why it's important and why one is sort of wanting to know exactly what the feeling of the governor of your state is on this matter is that it's become something of a controversy. What I mean by controversy is that, look, first of all, there's the understanding that the governors are in the position to administer land under their charge. That's constitutional.
Under the Land Use Act.
Under the Land Use Act. But as you know, the president has also set up bodies, the president of the Federal Republic has set up bodies in the face of that fact to investigate areas for possible use for ranching and that kind of a thing. And so that's why there's something of a controversy going on. In the meantime, Miyetti Allah has waded into the matter. So we're saying, look, what's going on?
I don't think there's any controversy. Really? The problem we have in Nigeria is that most times we look at issues from either a northern perspective, a southern perspective, from a Muslim perspective, a Christian perspective. So most of the time, that is what usually creates unnecessary tension and agitation. Otherwise, as far as the anti-open grazing law is concerned, I don't think there's any cause for alarm.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, but a lot will depend on who is viewing. Whereas from the southwest, we can say that. You can say that.
No, even from other southern states, I think some governors have also, assented to the bill.
Okay.
From other southern states outside the southwest.
Outside the southwest,
yeah,
indeed.
Yeah,
that is the case.
So far, from the last report I read, I think the states that have been expected to assent to the bill, I'm not sure they're up to 10, as at the last report
The very fact that the bill is being not just planned, is actually being worked on, is not pleasing to Meeti Allah, for instance. That's just one group. But enough said for the moment. Bernard, sorry for keeping you waiting. Good morning, Bernard, in Enugu State.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yoli.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to Mr. Omipedo.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, we the fans of Journalist Vanguard, we are very happy for you. We are very happy for you. And even we are missing you, the way you analyze issues here. The youth, we hold you to high esteem and look up to you.
Thank you,
because
sir.
of your knowledge and the way you address issues. So,
okay, Journalist Hangout, for those who might not know, is another of TVC's long list of current affairs programs. Just please continue.
Hello. Okay. Why serving as a advisor to governor? Don't forget where you are coming from. Don't forget where you are coming from. As you are there, as you analyze other people, as you are there and you are going on, with the journalist standard panelists or the viewers who analyze you objectively. You know you have your sound and balanced analysis. So that's how we follow you. So don't allow us to from the other side.
Yeah, so what was the point of the call? Was it to compliment Mr. Omipedo? Is that it, or did you want to bring up anything
I have taken note of it.
Up to him, he's a good guy and he's a great guy. I like his analysis.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate.
Okay, well, that was a nice one. I thought he might want to say something, but well, he's a fan of
Journalist Hangout.
Journalists Hangout, and in particular the contributors, and you yourself being a journalist. So he just wanted to sort of touch base and say, I like what you're doing, the way you go about and what you are doing. Okay, the anti-open grazing controversy, you are saying that you don't really see it as that, really.
Honestly,
you think it's a misnomer?
Yeah. If you listen, I listened to the Katsina governor spoke yesterday about this same issue. Now, if you don't believe a southern governor, I'm sure at least you would believe a northern governor on this matter. And he said it clearly. In fact, he even took it further to say that roaming the street with your cattle, it's even not part of Islam. He said it openly. And he added that, look, the situation in their own area is not the same thing as our own area. And I agree with him, because most of these people who are into this business are there. And that already they have plans in place to control even the roaming of, these animals on the street. So I don't think we should continue to make, unnecessary, controversy, out of it. Let us allow the governors to take charge as far as this matter is concerned, and give us the benefit of that and see whether or not we will carry out what we agreed that we're going to do. Okay.
Kayode in Surulere, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, Uncle. Please, I just want to send your visitor to the governor of Osun State.
Okay, sir.
Our road has been abandoned from Okela to Ira Upomima. Since the governor of Alegbeshola has left there, the road was abandoned. Why? He should remember that 100 votes can defeat him to opposition. Please, I'm sending him to the governor. He should grab us to the governor.
I want to assure you, sir, that road is part of the road that we'll be doing in the next phase of our infrastructural development.
Okay. So it means you're okay. Thank you very much for calling in, Kayode, and for your observation, which Mr. Mikidon is saying that, yeah, I hear you. it's slated
the demands
for attention.
roads are much, and we are taking them in phases, and we are doing them. You see, we also don't want to bite more than we can chew. We don't also want a situation whereby we start a road infrastructure and we are unable to complete. For instance, when we flagged off the construction of the Olaya flyover, about around March this year, a lot of people were saying, they will not complete it, their line, they just want to use it as a political gimmick. But as I speak, the work has reached about 60% complete, and a lot of people are now saying, we didn't know these people are serious.
Okay.
Because the man who is driving, who is on the driver's seat in Oshun, it's a man with a private background.
Governor Oyetola.
Governor Oyetola. It's a technocrat par excellence, and so he knows exactly what he is doing. And by the grace of God, we will be commissioning that flyover to mark our 3rd year in office in November this year.
I wonder if there are any federal roles that are giving you people some sort of relief, in the sense that federal will take care of that. But don't answer that yet, because I want to take the answer. I want to take the question of Wale calling in from Ikere Ekiti as well. Good morning, Wale.
Good morning, brother. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I've been following this program and particularly listening to the gentleman representing the governor. Let me first of all...
I don't know about representing the governor. He is the chief press secretary to the governor.
Yes, I know. He's speaking for the governor.
Okay.
Now, what I'm saying is that he said he wasn't sure whether Ekiti has enacted a law in respect of open grazing. That's unfortunate. Ekiti did that about 4 years running. That's one. Secondly, he's been talking wonderfully about road. I want him to address this particular road. If you are traveling from Esauke via Okemesi Junction to Imesi, which I passed through about 10 days ago, going to a lot of them, I have never in my entire life, over 70 years, found the road worse than that. Let's him attend to it. If you come out of Okemesi after on a river in Sotu State, you are now going towards Imesi Lake. You should address that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the call. That was by Mr. Wale. Yeah, in fact, you can say Elder Wale. Yeah, the man said in his over 70 years.
Yeah, I remember. We do apology. The moment you said the Ekiti passed 4 years, I remember under fire shade there was. But what I do not know is the component. I don't know how significantly different is the component of that law with the one we are talking about. The one we are talking about now, like we all know, was a collective decision, first by the Southwest governors and later, by the Southern governors. So that was the one I was making reference to. And I was also speaking in reference to the report I read in the papers. They normally list those ahead. So I want to believe that our colleagues listening to me will take cognizance of that fact and correct it. Like I started when I was talking about road infrastructure, there is huge deficit of decay in infrastructure, not only in Oshun, because I've traveled widely everywhere, and we are not claiming to have done everything. I'm from Ilan, so I'm very familiar with the road he's talking about. We are not saying we'll fix everything at once, but we are taking them one after the other.
And finance being at a premium.
Of course, everybody knows apart from the general economic challenge, our states, we have a peculiar, situation, but we are not allowing that to weigh us down. We are moving on. We are moving ahead.
Okay. Femi from K2. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Please go ahead with your question.
Not my question, because I want to talk about the politics and governance of the state.
Okay, observation then. Go ahead.
I don't know why this ex-governor, we want to be meddling in the affair
Hello, I don't know why this governor.
Continue, please.
I don't know why this ex-governor will be meddling in the affairs of the state.
Which ex-governor? Which?
I don't know. I can't just imagine. They have used their time. You have used 8 years.
Yeah, but which ex-governor are you alleging is meddling in the affairs of the state, sir? You have to be a bit specific to help us.
This guy it's never also. What is his problem? It's business. All the governors.
You aren't being specific. There have been a number of ex-governors. Go ahead and tell us which one. If you want to make an observation, please be particular. Have you gone? Okay. Well, I think we're going to have to leave it there. How I wish that that gentleman, you know, it was just a little matter, but we wanted him to be specific and say this ex-governor, and go ahead with whatever allegation is that you want to make. But okay, let me just see if I can help out. Do you have the problem of ex-governors meddling in your affairs?
No.
In the state of Osun?
No. You see, I think what it's spilling out, you know, some persons will claim that they are holding brief for our immediate past governor.
Okay.
Who is the current interior minister, you know, but my principal has said time and again, and I want to reinforce it, that the interior minister, it's a brother to him. And as far as their relationship is concerned, there is no crisis between them. It's just that people, you know, are exaggerating whatever, you know, is happening within the party has been, as you know, the two of them, you know, quarreling.
At loggerheads or anything like that. But there isn't any such thing.
No, they are not at loggerheads. It's just some persons who feel that they can hold brief, you know, for the former government. And like I said yesterday in one of the programs, and I want to say here again that I am not too sure if those persons are speaking the mind of the former governor, because I have not read anywhere so far where he has come out to publicly endorse, you know, their behavior in recent times.
So, no acrimony in Osun State regarding present and past administrations in you know, in terms of the development of the state.
Yeah, certainly.
I think we should just leave it there. Thank you very much, Ismail Omipedo, Chief Press Secretary to the Osun State Governor Boyega Oyetola. Thank you. You're in town. Okay, welcome back. And you know, this time Emeka Nadnagu is our guest for this particular topic. He's a veteran journalist, anti-open grazing controversy. As you know, state governors in the South have said that their states will have laws. They have this agreement to prohibit open grazing. This isn't pleasing to everybody, but look, they are driven by their own reasons, that it is the only sane and logical thing to do. The presidency, however, it seems to me, in the light of the constitutional provision that gives the governors the right to administer their territories, the president is still setting up a committee to sort of look into matters and see what can be done, open spaces and that kind of a thing. First of all, on that particular aspect, what would be your thought? How would you see that the governors are in charge here? The federals, Mr. President representing the federal is not in charge.
Yes.
So why is the president, therefore, if one didn't know better that that's not the style of Mr. President, one would say Mr. President is meddling in the affairs of the governors and their states?
Yeah, I think it's in part due to pressure from, you know, what is looking like the urge to fulfill an undeclared campaign promise. Because when you see politicians being so desperate, you know, or so determined to push an unpopular narrative.
Maybe
possible.
Maybe I like determined.
Yes, yeah, determined. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's call it determined. Okay, fine. All right. Let's use determined. I mean, determined to push an undeclared campaign promise. Because if you recall, you know, consecutively, President Buhari had, got a large number of votes from the north, and he had interactions with, different segments. If you remember, there was, a time, there was a debate, an open debate, presidential debate, where he talked about open grazing, rediscovering grazing routes and all of that. So that shows you that it's a mindset that has been formed, over a period of time. But you see, it's not just about having the intent, but you must balance it with realities on the ground.
The situation
you must balance it with the fact that this is the 21st century, for instance. I think some of the people advising Mr. President on this are just being intellectually lazy. And I say it deliberately because in the 21st century, a lot of things have, arisen, a lot of problems have arisen that, had to be tackled using technology. Let's avert our minds to the poultry industry in Nigeria, for instance.
Yes.
You see how vibrant it is, how lucrative it is, because over time, successive governments have, invested money in research, and then encouraged people to go into the business on a large scale. So you have people who are, who run very big poultries. Poultries are different levels. There are some who just run little poultries, in the back of their homes, while some allow their animals, their chickens to move around openly, although there are state governments that have banned that, like Ogun State government.
I think so. Free range. Well, not exactly free range.
Free range. But
because
don't allow them
technique.
Go into the streets.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So now, with all that effort that's been put into making poultry a good business, a big business, I think all they need to do is just adopt the template and say, okay, poultry business is big business in Nigeria today. And it is practiced by a wide range of Nigerians, the rich and the poor. So how can we bring everybody into this business so that we don't remain antagonistic, so that this business of animal husbandry, just a part of animal husbandry, doesn't remain, on the, in the public view for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
And then don't forget that, yes.
Sorry. Whereas I come along with all that you said, the Fulanese, as if I take it from what spokespeople of Miyetti Allah are saying, is that this is inextricably, herding is inextricably linked to them as a people, and then them as a tradition, and them as a culture, and that what is going on, the way they are reading it, is that it won't work the way you were explaining for poultry, because from their point of view, anybody, including any Fulani who so likes, can be a poultry farmer. But there are other people. There are even many other cattle owners, but I don't know that they are cattle herders, so who have invested in the cattle business. But listening to the statement, admittedly on the belligerent side, that from Miyetti Allah's spokesperson, they are saying that it looks like they're trying to wipe out our mode of our business and all of that.
I think they're just being mischievous. You see,
or unduly sentimental.
They're just being mischievous. You see, humanity, life evolves. Civilization, things keep on changing. The alarm they are raising is just because they have refused to buy into the truth. Okay, they know. The same Miyetti Allah people know.
Well, I wish Miyetti Allah were here.
No.
Because if you go that...
let me even play the devil's advocate.
I wish they were here.
Let me help them. Let me help them a little. Let me help them. I'm not trying to antagonize them, but let me help them.
If they need any help.
No.
For whatever...
You see, they need to know that it is no longer... they are not... The Fulanis are not the only cattle herders in Nigeria or in Africa. There are, to lesser degrees, there are certain areas, where people tend cattle. Yes. They don't, they may not take them over long distances like their people do, but in Africa, you have different areas. And don't forget, around the world, for instance, Argentina produces so much beef. I think the highest producer of beef in the world. How are they doing this?
It's a totally different concept over there.
How are they doing this?
We have to
key in it.
But they are saying that we are at a rudimentary level, and therefore this thing will be hurting them much more. It'll have much more impact on their livelihood, but also the way they are. They say that, again, I'm referencing the interview you must have heard as well, when the Miyetti Allah spokesman came out and spoke about the whole matter, warning that was why I said.
Why do they have to continually warn
this
people?
Is the
why must there be that belligerent attitude?
Thank you very much.
If it is a business, if there isn't an agenda for land grabbing, ethnic cleansing, like have been alleged in different quarters, why should you keep warning people, threatening people? Then it shows that there is something that there will be an increase beyond. That is not just about business. It's not just about, your livelihood, your way of life. Something else is behind it, and they should come out and tell Nigerians what their real motives are. Because if it is about business, your business must have a certain location or operate within an axis. You don't just have a free range, jump into people's farms, jump into people's homes, take people's lives, and then you say you are running business. No, because if you look at it, they should go back to the governors. I believe they should initiate dialogue with the governors. That, okay, if you're talking of ranching, what does the Land Use Act say about ranching, about use of agricultural land? They have not even taken advantage of it, because there are advantages for them in the Land Use Act. You
know what? Let's take a report that we put together, and I think it will sort of, put all these points in a capsule. Let's look at that report. We'll come back, continue the conversation, and of course, include your calls.
Agitations against open grazing have lingered in Nigeria in recent years and continues to raise reactions from different groups. With several years of crisis between farmers and elders across various states in the country, Southern governors in May 2021 resolved to ban open grazing of cattle in their various states. This decision is one which has not gone down well with many, especially the herder communities. Here are these events of its National Peace Summit and investiture ceremony of its brand ambassador. The group is again stressing the need for Southern state governors to renege on their decision to ban open grazing. They see a failure to do so as capable of undermining the relative peace and stability currently enjoyed in the local communities, threatening social order and worsening cattle rustling. They said that the anti-open grazing laws would destroy livestock production and send millions of people who depend on the livestock value chain into poverty.
We also are going to take legal actions against the state to challenge them both in our local courts and international courts, because it's fundamentally against the constitution of the country. And then thirdly, we are going to also apply political solutions. That's why we're appealing to the National Assembly, the President, and also initiate series of dialogue, because we believe some of these governors are ill-informed about the real causes of security challenges they are having in their states.
They appeal to the National Assembly to come to the rescue of the pastoralists by resuscitating and passing the Grazing Reserve Commission Bill and other livestock management bills that were initiated by the previous assembly. Helen Osamede Akins, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, so as in you heard on that report, well, is it Miyetti Allah, Culture, if that is saying it correctly? They've already sort of worked out positions, because you were saying
positions founded on ignorance and mischief.
Because you were saying earlier that it's not as if there are no northern governors that also see it reasonably.
Yes.
But they've already called such governors misinformed.
Yes, because this administration has allowed a group like that, to just have, free reign. Well, we have laws in this country. A group cannot continue to issue threats
for what
to
it is
people
worth.
here
The
and there.
president is their grand patron for what it is worth.
It doesn't matter.
And I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter. What matters is the law. We have a constitution. And the constitution overrides whatever personal or sentimental attachment people have to whatever thing, in this country. That's what I said. It's founded on ignorance and mischief. Ignorance for the fact that, you see, they are talking about, activating grazing reserves bill. Reserves. Now, not open grazing bill. So is there any open grazing bill Was there any open grazing bill initiated by the 8th National Assembly? No. Is there any such bill before the 9th National Assembly? No.
No.
Then the next question is to ask that group to come out with facts and figures, with data, and tell us how lucrative, how profitable this open grazing has been. And then they should also tell us the taxes that have been paid from open grazing to the Nigerian economy.
Okay. Let me bring in Mazi Okoroafo. Good morning, Mazi. Mazi Okoroafo, are you there?
Yeah, good morning, sir. You're a good man, I guess, in the studio.
Good morning.
You see, for us to move forward, cow dung is money, and cow dung is business. So, what the governors agreed is that they should put it into action. So that when this is comes up, you see that we need manure, natural manure, not the question of going to look for fertilizer. Because if you use cow dung as manure, it's more productive than what? Than fertilizer. That means there is need for this anti-grazing law, which the governors to help the country, so that we stop depending on this fertilizer issue. That's number one. Number two, it takes money. And when you talk about it, people go and cut grasses and bring, you have created employment for youth who are unemployed. They go and bring grasses to the way they have all these cattle settle one place now. It's money. So government should dance to the tune of the governors, what they signed into law, so that they will create more employment for the youth. Because if 50% of Nigerian youth are into this bringing grasses to all these spots where you have this cow, are you not, you have reduced all this criminality going on.
Okay. Thank you, Mazi, for calling in. Because to show good intentions, maybe a creative approach has to be developed, can be developed.
I have given an example of poultry,
Mm.
And it's not the only branch of animal husbandry where you've had advances technologically and scientifically all over the world. You see, the point is this: they need. I think the media too is partly to blame for this. We have allowed these people to just keep talking and talking and talking without asking them fundamental questions. No, I'm talking of the group, not all the pastoralists, because they do not have the mandate of all pastoralists to keep threatening Nigerians. Nobody has that mandate. It's not a constitutional mandate. So where do they derive the mandate to keep issuing threats? And I mean. Yeah. Making the whole place, heating up the polity. Where do they derive the mandate? It's a simple thing. It's all about business. And in business, you make projections, you make calculations. In business, you use data, you use information. You don't just come, throwing out things. No. It's about business. Unless there is another agenda, which they have not revealed to us.
Indeed.
As Nigerians.
Good morning, Mr. Yakub in Dokbemu.
Good morning. And then, Emeka, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
I totally agree with Mr. Emeka. Imagine a group was telling Nigerians that a governor of a state that is following a law of the country, he was not telling us they are ignorant of the same law. Imagine a group says so. So I totally agree with Mr. Emeka that this government has given them a lot of free hand to say whatever they like. And I'm saying this differently. We are in his word that they are setting open grazing, that cow is moving from one place to another. Let me give you a typical example that is not far from us here. K1 the ultimate. I'm talking about Wasu and Demasha. He has a ranch. Look at his cow and compare you with these people that they are moving from point A to point B. If they put the Wasu and Demasha cow side by side with the car that are moving around, which one will you take? Which you know what about that? Because these people, okay, the question is this: you are moving from point A to point B. Do you have access to school? Do you have access to earth? Do you have access to so many things? Maybe these people are reasoning because the situation whereby they give you a place, they build a school for, they build an hospital for you, and then some people will have a right to supply you the grass, and then they will make their own money from there as well. And then you are not telling us that the government should not allow them to pass that law. The Southwest governor, they should not listen. They should not go back on that law. They should make sure that law is come to play because and
Also, not only Fulani that has the car, I have a brother. I'm a Yoruba person. I have a brother that has almost 70 cows. And then I've been telling him, this car that you have, you are going to do ranches for them. So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. I mean, as I said, it's not as if Fulanis are the only people who own cows. There are many Igbo people
who tend cows.
Well, yes. But only the Fulani tend cows in their own way, which they say is which they say is traditional, is part of the cultural heritage, and that's why they are.
There was a time human beings were hunter-gatherers.
There you go.
We were just, people were just killing themselves, and no, we've gone beyond that. Today we know we wear clothes. Today we behave in civilized form. So we cannot just say it is our tradition. If current realities have overtaken certain things, I think it's better for us to move forward and find a way to evolve, to adapt to current circumstances. It is not difficult.
And you are
it's not difficult. This is about even providing. The interesting thing, you are providing beef to me. I'm supposed to use my money to buy beef from you, and you are now trying to do it in such a way that makes it difficult for me to even exist as an individual. How do you balance that?
It's something of a paradox.
They have no basis. They have no basis.
We're going to have to leave it there. Yes. I want to thank you very much
for
coming on the program, Emeka Madnagu, a veteran journalist and commentator on public affairs. So that's our program today. Just before I go, let me just remind you again that it's up for grabs. That is to say, government's offer of the anti-COVID-19 virus. You might want to consider accepting it. But in the meantime, as you're making up your mind one way or the other, do remember to socially distance, wash your hands, mask up, and that about covers it, right? So, God willing, I'll see you tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Iyori Folani. Bye-bye for now.